Is USADA destroying fighters' careers, or is it just an honest mistake? In this video, we'll try to uncover the truth by going over a few instances where USADA made a grave error. Rob Font. Rob Font may be guilty of having a slick jab. He may be guilty of not knowing how to close out a round without getting clipped. He may have put the non-prohibited metabolite 4-chlorophenoxyacetic acid, also known as 4-CPA, in his system. But he did not cheat by taking meclofenoxate. That would just be silly. For those of you who don't innately know what these big scientific words mean, allow us to paint the picture for you. Following an exciting victory over Cody Garbrandt, Font was caught in the red tape of USADA. If the amount of 4-CPA passes a certain threshold, then it's typically a surefire way to tell the fighter has taken the banned substance. After sending USADA about 35 pages worth of things he used and ingested for this fight camp, the anti-doping agency came to the conclusion that Font was not trying to cheat, but rather he just wanted some smooth skin. Turns out his face and hair products are what flashed the red light with USADA. Furthermore, every fighter on the UFC Fight Night 188 card had some traces of 4-CPA in their system. This has us wondering how often TRT Vitor shopped at Sephora. Yoel Romero. If Yoel Romero isn't on the juice, then he needs to be in a lab being studied. This guy is an absolute athletic freak of nature. If you put a bead of Romero's sweat in a can of Monster Energy and had a great white shark drink it, then it would return as a megalodon with massive biceps and a scary Cuban accent. But yes, back to the legitimacy of Romero being a clean athlete. He did pop with USADA in 2016 for a banned substance, and to be honest, most of us weren't surprised. However, this wasn't the fault of Yoel Romero, or even USADA for that matter, but rather, it was actually the company that made his supplement. It was their fault. His supplements purchased from Gold Star were tainted. Romero was faced with a 6-month suspension, but he layered up, threw the Uno reverse card on the table, and ended up winning a $27 million settlement. Paulo Costa. Speaking of freak athletes, here's Paulo Costa. The only thing more refined than his meme game is his physique. Costa looks like what many fans would dream to look like. Prior to his most recent bout against fellow good-looking fighter Luke Rockhold, he was awoken a bit early, not via an alarm clock, but via USADA employees. During the final stages of Costa's weight cut, i.e. the part that sucks most, USADA came knocking at 6 a.m. to get some blood and urine samples from the Brazilian. This prompted Costa to deliver a feisty message targeting USADA during his official weigh-in. Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is one of the most beloved personalities that us MMA fans have had the pleasure of watching. He's so fun and unique, all while not really trying at all. This is mostly due to his nonchalant nature. No matter which Diaz brother we're talking about, a common denominator is their laid-back nature, but like in the cool way. With that does come some pushback from the suits in the UFC, the commissions, and USADA. Nick Diaz has had wins overturned in the past strictly for being too damn high. He also tested positive for marijuana in his bout against Anderson Silva. The first mistake wasn't on Nick smoking, but the commission refusing to relinquish marijuana from the list of performance-enhancing drugs at the time. Furthermore, the Nevada State Athletic Commission really messed things up by suspending Diaz for 5 years for the failed test and disregard, only to come to terms with the recreational nature of the drug and allowing fighters to use it freely later on. Jon Jones. The man has done it all, from becoming the youngest UFC champion to failing drug tests and getting caught by the law. However, the controversial nature of his career also looped in USADA as well with the pictogram controversy. The UFC 232 pay-per-view saw Jon Jones rematching Alexander Gustafsson, but the bout seemingly came close to being canned. Apparently, Jones failed a drug test as UFC and USADA reportedly found pictograms of Turinabol in his system. This wasn't the first instance where he failed the test for the same damn substance, but this time Jeff Nowitzki and Dana White both came to bat for the champion and even moved the event overnight from Las Vegas to Inglewood, California. Needless to say, this brought the whole fight into question and even marred USADA, as they may have failed to uphold the law.
Like and share, and don't forget to follow Sportskeeda MMA on all our social media platforms.